What's up, you guys? Jason Wardrop here, and a couple weeks ago I launched a video called how to start a digital marketing agency. And I got a question from Manuel right here, as well as Chris. And I get these questions asked a ton, and so it's kind of dealing with the digital marketing agency sales script, your sales template, your sales pitch, all that stuff, whatever you want to call it. So I want to go through and in this video show you guys my actual sales script, the format, the books that I recommend going through and reading, and how you should really be structuring your calls when you're on a phone with a potential client. Okay, because it's crazy, but I don't view myself as a salesperson. I'm terrible at sales, but I am really good at what I do, and so I see myself as a consultant. So if someone tells me their problems where they're struggling and it's in my area of expertise, I can see like, okay, well, you obviously need to do this, this, and this, and then from there, like, it just makes the sale so dang easy. Okay, so Manuel's question was, what questions would I ask my client to better understand what they want? Now, I answered Manuel's question a little bit on YouTube in the comments, but honestly this is a lot more in depth and detail, so I just want to shoot a whole video for everyone to be able to go through and check this out. And then Chris Goldsmith says, what are your thoughts on contracts? Do you have your new clients sign a commitment? So this is kind of tied in with the sales pitch, right? You have contracts or you don't, and commitments, all that stuff, and I get this question all the time as well. So let me just break down my thoughts on all of this. So let me just jump over. I put together this is kind of like our sales pitch, our sales script. This is kind of the format structure. Obviously I pulled some of the questions. It's not everything word for word, all right, but it is all based on the concept of spin selling. Okay, so there's a book, and the funny thing is I actually took a sales class in college. It probably was one of the only like effective classes that I took for the business I ended up doing, and this is it right here. I don't even know, Neil Rackham. Okay, so if you guys want to go grab that book, I don't have an affiliate link, just go type in spin selling. So spin selling, so basically it's based off of 4 different segments of the whole sales conversation. So you have situation for the S, problem, which I kind of do problem and pain of like, what is the client's problem, what's their pains that they're feeling. Then implication, and honestly I don't really know what that means, but it's I went and looked it up. It's basically exploring the causes and effects of those problems. And then N is the need payoff. So it's basically like your offer and how it is paying off with their pains and problems and how you can help solve them. All right, so let's just walk through this really quickly here, and then we'll get into the whole contracts part of things. But first, what I usually do is on the very beginning of the sales call, we jump on, and honestly guys, I'm not doing any cold calling. So if you want cold calling scripts, I'm not your guy, because I don't do any cold calling. I do everything that is attraction based marketing. So people are actually booking a call with me because I just don't have time to go through to do all the manual outreach stuff, which, you know, maybe in the beginning you want to get into cold calling, you could do that, great, but I don't like to do that. So first of all, we're gonna have a quick intro. So for example, in the intro you'd basically say like, hey Bob, what's up, how are you doing, you know, how's the weather wherever you're at, you know, and just very quick and simple. And then say, okay, well, I'm ready to get started if you are, and then jump right into things. Okay, and if they go through and they go and try to take the conversation another direction, you get things back into the direction that you want to take the call. Okay, and so if they're like, hey, well, I was just wondering what ad template. Okay, well, so Bob, so how this call goes is I've got about 30 minutes set aside, and what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna ask you a bunch of questions. I really want to get a good feel of where you're at with your business, where you want to get to, and then at the end of the call, if I feel like I can actually go through and help you with what you need, then I will basically break down what we have for you. And if I don't feel like I can help you, then I know a lot of other people in the industry and I can point you in the right direction. Okay, so that one works extremely well because they're like, okay, we've got 30 minutes set aside, so now we're not having the call going for 45 minutes or an hour, and you can easily cut it off and be like, okay, look, I got to jump on another call if this person's just rambling. And then also you're kind of like having them put their guard down because they're like, oh man, well, if I'm not a good fit, they're just gonna like recommend me to another person. Okay, and I've actually done that. All right, so make sure obviously what you're doing is accurate and true. But once you jump in, the very first question I always ask, and this one just kind of opens up the can of worms, and honestly a lot of these later questions, at the end of the day, I don't even need to ask them because they're already answered with this first question. Okay, and that is what motivated you to schedule a call with me today? Okay, it's a great question because it's just like, oh man, well, I've been following you for some time now, and maybe you don't have a following like I do, but it's like, I just really need help with my lead generation, or I just really need help with my follow-up or my content, or I just really need a website. They're basically going to open up and tell you exactly what they need, what their pain points are, even before we get into the problem area. All right, now one thing that, going back to Manuel's question over here, I just want to pull this up real quick again, because he says, what questions would I ask my client to better understand what they want? So sounds like Manuel is a new marketing agency owner, right? Based on this question right here, which I know a lot of people that follow me are newer, or kind of like maybe you're just looking to get started, or you have already started your marketing agency, but it's still fairly new. Looks like he has not completely dialed in what his offer is, right? Which is totally cool. This is where you start out. That's where everyone starts out. So what you need to do in the beginning is you just want to ask a ton of questions, and getting down to like your offer and your solution, how you can help them. It's gonna probably in those first 30, 40, 50 calls be molded, okay, by what everyone consistently is saying. If everyone's saying they need Facebook ads, all right, you start going through and being like the pro at Facebook ads. And obviously you can go through and kind of lead the conversation with based off the questions that you're asking, and kind of on the pre-frame, the pre-call setup of like maybe the emails that you're sending out, maybe some videos you're having them watch beforehand. But the thing is that, and this is one thing I didn't really understand when I first started selling, is you're selling your pitch, your offer, your everything doesn't start when you go through and state what you do and how you can help them. It starts way earlier with all of these questions. Okay, just really diving deep. Okay, what's motivated you to schedule a call with me? Oh man, I'm not generating leads. I really need help with my lead generation. I need more business. I don't have enough clients, blah blah blah. Okay, well great. How many leads are you currently getting every single month? Okay, it's good to have a standard, a base of knowing where they're at, and then eventually where they're wanting to get to. Because then obviously also, if you have them on as a client, you can refer back to, okay, well, you were at this point, you were getting 3 leads per month, and now you're getting 40 leads per month. And then from there, kind of seeing like, okay, well, how many clients, how many deals are you closing every single month? So you can kind of get a good frame of reference of where they're at, of how many leads. Let's say they're getting 5 leads, they're getting 1 closed deal per month, and how much they're currently making. So let's say in real estate, you're getting X amount of leads, you're closing 1 client, and so you're making 8 grand with that 1 client every single month. Okay, and then the problem, okay, we understand the situation, we understand the current situation, where they're at, right? And then the problem, okay, they said they had some struggles generating leads. Well, how are you currently generating leads? What platforms are you using? Are you using Zillow, Trulia? Are you doing Facebook ads? Are you got a website? Like, what's going on? Let's really dive deep in on what they're doing. Are you just working your sphere of influence? What are you doing, right? And then once they go through and tell you that, okay, well, do you feel like you have systems in place? Okay, do you feel like you have systems in place to generate more leads, to get to a point of where you want to get to with your lead generation? Do you have a process in place to get new clients on demand? Now, here's the thing here. You might already know the answers to these questions, but you're basically just going through and twisting deep on their pain points, right? So based on everything they told you, they don't have systems, they don't have a process in place, but you're basically getting them to verbally confirm that they do not have systems and processes in place. And it really just materializes for them of seeing like, man, I don't have systems, I don't have processes, I don't know how to go through and get clients on demand. And then this is setting you up for the pitch, setting you up for your sale. Okay, and then these are great follow-up questions here. Are you comfortable with that? Or how do you feel about that? Okay, obviously that's even digging deeper. Like obviously they're not going to feel great about that, right? Now, these aren't all the questions that we ask. We have tons more questions for each one of these steps, but I just want to give you guys a good idea of somewhere where you could start. And a lot of the questions that we have, a lot of the other ones, they're very specific to our industry. They're very specific to our offer. And so I'm not trying to like hold back anything on you guys to go through and sell you some course or anything. I'm just giving you guys a good baseline of where to start for pretty much no matter what industry, no matter what offer, and give you guys some good ideas. And then from there, Be a little creative. Think, okay, what other questions? Where is this conversation? Every time this prospect leads me down this road of saying they've got this pain point. Okay, well, maybe like let's figure out how to solve that pain point because they're saying that they need help with it, right? And this kind of merges into the next section. Okay, Bob, you're currently making 10 grand a month and you want to get to $20,000 per month. What's stopping you from getting there on your own? Okay, because then it kind of goes through and says, okay, well, you obviously there's people and there's ways that you can go through and do this on your own. You don't necessarily need me. And a lot of people are going to be scared to ask that question because they're like, well, they do need me because I need them because I need to go through and make money. Well, guess what? Most people, and I actually had this question on the channel the other day too. They said, well, what if I set up all the ads 1 month? What if they're already set up? Why would they keep paying me? Well, number one, you have to go through and monitor ads. Ads are not just to set it and forget it. And number two, what most beginner marketing agency owners forget and don't know is most people don't want to run the ads. Most people don't want to do the marketing. Most people don't want to do the follow-up, right? They are really good at being a dentist, a chiropractor, a real estate agent, showing homes. They don't want to mess with all this crap. That is why you exist, right? So basically going through and asking this is not putting you in any vulnerable spot. It's just basically acknowledging the gap of working with you versus them doing it on their own and figuring out, okay, well, maybe I don't know how to do that. Or what's stopping me from getting there on my own? Well, I don't have the time, right? You're going to be able to help me get there faster. And then this one, why not just stay where you are? Okay, so that kind of like, that kind of sticks the knife in and twists it a little bit in a little bit different angle. Okay, of like, okay, well, why? I mean, 10 grand a month, that's pretty good. Like, why not just stay where you're at, Bob? And then from there, it really gets out like his core desires of what he's wanting to go through and do. Okay, and then this one is key. Okay, this last question. And obviously, like I said, we have a whole lot of other questions, but these are kind of just some highlights of some of the main questions that I would be asking. Okay, Bob, well, you said you want to get to 10,000. You're at 10,000. You want to get to $20,000 per month. How soon you want to fix this? Okay, you're wanting them to say as soon as possible, right now, yesterday. If they're like, oh man, well maybe next year, a few months down the road, they're just kicking the tires. You don't want to work with that person. Okay, if you get to the person saying that, then you'd be like, okay, well, you've told me that like getting to $20,000 per month would free up all of your time so you can spend more time with your family and help you actually be able to grow your business, help you be able to go and live the life of your dreams. And you're wanting to wait 3 months to do that? Okay, and then they're like, okay, well that sounds ridiculous, I know. And so they're like, okay, no, I want it now. I want it now. You want them to admit that they want it now, because then when you're on the phone and you get to the pitch and you offer the price, they're not like, well, maybe we'll come back in a month or so. Then you can be like, well, I thought you were wanting to get this fixed right now. Be like, oh yeah, you're right. Okay, so from here, then we're moving into more of the close or the need payoff. Show why your service is worth it. Okay, so now at this point, you understand their business, you understand their pain points, what they need help. You should know, got a pretty good idea of how you can actually go through and help them, what you should be offering them, right? And then you're gonna say something like, well, Bob, based on everything you said, I definitely can help you out with that. Okay, would you like to hear a little bit more about how I can help you? And then you wait for them to say yes, okay, or have some affirmative response. And if they don't, just wait, just pause. Okay, they will say yes. And then from there, you go into kind of a basic overall pitch of what you do, stating your offer. Okay, great. Well, our area of expertise is helping real estate professionals get consistent leads and closings. So what we do is we build out your entire lead generation system for you, so you can start blah 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 generating leads daily, get to 50 leads a month, whatever it is. Okay, and you want to keep this pretty short and concise so you're not confusing and overwhelming your prospect. Okay, and you might be thinking, well, they need to know I'm going to be building out 2 Facebook ads and the email marketing campaign and text messages and Facebook Messenger bots. They need to know all this. Guys, at the end of the day, your prospect does not care. They don't care how you're doing it. All they want is the leads. All they want is the appointments. All they want is more business. All they want is more closed deals and making money. Okay, You probably heard me on past on this channel. I've broken down this whole process of you've got basically the steps of the needs of what people actually want. You've got leads over here is kind of like the bare minimum, right? Let's get you 50 to 60 leads per month. Then you've got sales conversations. Okay, like that's kind of maybe texting back and forth, email back and forth. And then moving up the road over here, you got leads, sales conversations, you've got appointments. Okay, somebody actually books an appointment on your calendar, jumps on a phone call for you with you, right? That's a lot more qualified person than someone just becoming a lead. And then ultimately you have a closed deal where money has been made, exchanged hands, and you actually made money, right? So there's kind of like the different levels. So you don't need to tell all the details of how you're gonna book appointments or how you're gonna get leads or how you're gonna do this or that. Okay, what's gonna happen is after you kind of state your initial offer, they're gonna start asking questions. Okay, great. Well, so like how many months does it take? How long does it get set up? You know, how does this work? How does that work? Am I gonna get like an account manager? Like how just so they're gonna go through and ask all the different questions. And once they kind of feel like they've got a good grasp on everything, then at that point it's gonna get to a point where they're gonna ask, okay, well, so how much does it cost? Okay, you're not gonna go through and tell them the price until they ask for it. All right, so many people get this wrong where they go through and they're like, oh yeah, so we go through and we build out, you know, lead generation system for you, and it's 500 bucks or 1,000 bucks, 10,000 bucks, whatever the number is, right? But you want to have them have a full understanding of what you're offering before you offer the price, because here's the thing, $5,000 sounds like a lot of money if I'm selling you an iPhone, right? However, $5,000 if I'm selling you my Tesla, you'd be like all over that, right? That is the best bargain in the world. So until they fully understand the offer and what you're going to be giving them, $5,000, $1,000, whatever your price point is irrelevant, right? So okay, hopefully all this made sense. Drop a comment down below if you guys have any questions. And jumping back over to Chris's, I believe Chris's comment, which is, what are your thoughts on contracts? Do you have new clients sign a commitment? And yes, 100% I have them sign a contract and commitment. And this is for a couple of reasons. And the first reason why is because we want to have a mutual understanding between business owner and client. Okay, you the business owner and your clients. So then if you know 2-3 months go down the road and your client comes to you and be like, hey, well, you said this on the phone, and you're like, no, I didn't ever say that. Like, no, you did. And maybe they were on a sales call with somebody else that said it. But what you can do is you can refer back to the contract and be like, look, no, this is like exactly what we said we would do, and we've done it, right? And then also, if you ever get into a sticky situation like that and they're like, I'm just going to dispute the charge, well, look, you've got the signed contract saying everything that you were doing. You can go through to show the customer communication, you can show the work that was done. And so really it is a huge help. And then also another reason with the commitment, I usually like to do a minimum 90-day commitment. And here's the deal, generating leads, booking appointments, all that stuff, that is a leading indicator to success. Closing a deal, making money from a client, that is a lagging indicator. And those lagging indicators usually don't show up for about 60 to 90, even sometimes 100 to 120 days. So in the first 30 days, let's say you go through and generate all these leads, which are the leading indicators to success, like I'm saying, but they don't close a deal and they're pissed. They're like, I want to cancel. Well, guess what? You haven't given it enough time to actually like have the harvest take place, right? You just barely started planting the seeds, but you got to water them, you got to nurture them, and to get to the point where you can actually harvest them 3 to 4 months down the road, right? So there's my thoughts on contracts, sales script, sales pitch. Now, if you guys have any comments, questions, anything like that, drop them down below so I can go through, read them, and potentially make future videos, because I really enjoy making videos where I'm answering real questions that I get a lot of the same question of, as opposed to just coming up with some stupid random topic just to make a video. So go ahead, do that. And if you guys found this video helpful, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Greatly appreciate that, so more people can see this and help them out with their digital marketing agency as well. And if you're brand new here, my name is Jason Wardrop. I launch new videos every single week on how to generate more leads, make more money, and grow your business. So if you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video.